Okay, as everybody knows who's interested in this sort of stuff, Mencho was killed the other day, supposedly. And I did a hour-long kind of stream of consciousness, talked about a bunch of things last night. But let me give you in a nutshell what happened with some good footage. The various news agencies have gone into these cabins where he spent his last evening. So he went to in Tapalpa, there was a set of luxury like cabins you would rent for like a romantic evening or have parties, and he had sort of a party maybe with his guards, and they had different girls come. This set of bungalows in the woods was already on the U.S. sanction list. It was known to be associated with CJNG. Does that mean, he thought he could just operate so freely, or maybe he thought by going to something that was already on the list they wouldn't look for him there? I tend to think those guys operate as long as they have political protection. It really doesn't matter. They have to create this myth that they're hiding in the mountains, so the reality that the Mexican government isn't protecting them isn't true. So he's having this party. He has some of his guys with him, not a ton, not a bunch of guards. They track one of his particular, not just some prostitute, but like a mistress of his, I guess we had a recurring relationship with. They track her there. When she leaves, they drop down Mexican special forces. They rapidly shoot it up. Mencho and a couple of his guys manage to scramble a little ways away. They get them in the brush. They're all shot. They get put on a helicopter. So they're in Guadalajara. Guadalajara is Mexico's second biggest city. It's very well developed. It has, Americans go to Guadalajara to get surgeries because it's cheaper there. They have legitimate, medical facilities, but they didn't even say they were going to fly him to Guadalajara. They were taking him to Mexico City. And word on the grapevine is that, they didn't want Mencho taken alive. Think about what's going on with Mayo and them, giving up corrupt politicians. They didn't want Mencho alive. I'm sure the plan was for him to die. So they say he had some wounds after getting caught at his lover's nest. Who knows what the truth really is? They have not shown his body yet. So it's been 48 hours, 40 hours. They haven't shown his body. If I were in charge of law enforcement over there and we had Mencho and he was injured, I wouldn't be inhumane, I guess, but I would press him. I would try to squeeze him for as much info as I could. He supposedly had bad health from kidneys. He was 59. He lived a life. The older you get, it's harder to recover from getting shot up. If he had kidney issues and he got shot up, probably wasn't going to live, but who knows? All three of them dying on the way to Mexico City. Him and both of his guards were all injured. But what are you going to let guys like that live for? They were executed like Pablo Escobar was, which, whatever. That's the rules of the game they were in. Now, another interesting thing, immediately that day, if you remember, and even if some of you are just now seeing the stories on major news now, they're saying, Mexico in fear, and they show these burning airplanes and cars and people running at airports. A lot of that was AI. So these cartels have become very adept. They recruit workers, young people, through use of strings of emojis, and like they put certain emojis in a time and a place. So if you want to possibly start working for CJNG, Mayo, Chapiza, whoever, you show up at this place when you see these emojis. They're very adept at social media. They created the sense that Mexico was under siege. Now, there were 25 Marines killed. There were some attacks. CJNG did do some stuff. Some of the blockades were real, but there was no attacks at the Guadalajara airport. There was no burning planes. There was they reported 252 blockades of major intersections across the country. Some were real, some were fake. So we're in this age, we have already been in this age of where disinformation is a major weapon. It controls people's perception. imagine if you can create in a population the sense of, oh, don't lock up these guys, they'll bring down society, and you can do it just through fake social media posts. That would be very, very useful. And again, I go back to my central theme of the long one I did, which you should watch, Escobar, this guy, Mencho, Chapo. Most of the names we hear that get famous, they all rose from the bottom. They were thugs. They were drivers, sicarios, hitters. Chapo was a hitter. Mencho was head of security for the whole cartel. These guys are the top thugs. They're not the brain trust. Not to say they're not smart. Obviously, they rose through the food chain, but clearly, I mean, I think we all know there's other people orchestrating all this. These are the faces of it. Why, you know, the fact that it's gotten so out of control with the violence. Look at Colombia. Colombia was even more violent during the 80s and early 90s. Once they knocked off Pablo, things started to calm down. Yet the lowest inflation-adjusted price for wholesale cocaine in U.S. history was 1994. That is up until like now. Now, whether the rest of Ryan Wedding and El Chapo will raise the price of yayo, we'll see. So thugs, the roughest guys, arise to these, because they have the personality to get other thugs around them. But interesting, when I was interviewing Ramon Milian Rodriguez, who served 25 years for being Pablo Escobar's personal accountant, laundered like $20 billion back in the late 70s and early 80s, which is equivalent to like $80 billion now. He said people like him, the educated people that were helping them, the accountants, they treated them, with the utmost respect because they knew they needed them. If a gunman got out of line, they had dumped him in a second because they could get another one. But the educated classes, the political people, because the political people and the military people can provide you real protection. As we saw here, I mean, if a couple of special forces helicopters and some highly trained guys want to come in and get you, and you're not given a heads up, guess what? You're going down. And that's exactly what happened. They're doing a society of the spectacle. They took out Chapo. What happened? That's when the Fetty Wap got big. Remember, Chapo went in 2016. That's when the Fetty started. Has things slowed down a little since they got Ovidio and them? A little, but yayo prices are at an all-time low. Now they're getting Mencho, this who supposedly CJNG had that substance on lock. We'll see about that. But then there's always the Mizef, so it's always something. And these famous faces they take out are designed to make us feel like, oh, they're doing something. For a guy that was hiding in the mountains, he was sure mighty easy to get. That's the lesson you should take. And I've been showing you some of the insides of the final little love nest at the couple $100 a night little resort that he met up with this girl at. I mean, it doesn't seem like that thrilling of a life. You and 80 of your bodyguards at what basically looks like a Hampton Inn in the woods with, probably some women that are high-level escorts of a type. Kind of a lot to have to do just to get that as a reward. But it is very important they took him out. CJNG was supposedly 81% of all the deaths in the last 10 years in Mexico sea wars are either CJNG members or people they're fighting. So they're involved in 4 out of 5 of the deaths. So maybe this will bring it down. Or it'll splinter them and things will be more violent than ever. We shall see. But I just wanted to give you a rapid summary and a quick update and let you know they had been putting propaganda. There's a lot of AI about, they're destroying stuff in Mexico. take it all with a grain of salt. Now, Profit American Dope.